kids can be introduced to at such a little age. And I'm like, I just want to like like nothing, like just standard stuff. Like I'm pretty
I'm
just
the same way. I'm very conservative when it comes to that. I just like tradition.
yeah.
There's a lot of thing about tradition that I just like, especially for the kids, because they don't understand.
Yeah.
They just don't. They're just too
Yeah.
young.
Well,
And
they can be brainwashed so easily. So just give them
yeah,
structure, and if they want, if they're, if they, if like I went through a phase when I was younger, and my aunt lives in LA, so like West Hollywood and whatever. I would go visit her, my mom's younger sister. I would go visit her, and we would go see the drags because I thought it was so funny, and I would
yeah,
take pictures, and
yeah,
so like
yeah,
fine, but like that I was like 14, 15, like, and I grew out of it because
yeah,
now I think it's disgusting because they shouldn't be competing with women in sport. Like, there's a whole
yeah,
bigger picture that's happening.
yeah.
But like when they're little, like that's a problem.
When I was in sixth grade, I tell this story all the time. When I was in sixth grade, I went through an extreme, on the extreme side, tomboy stage. My girlfriends and all, I would dress up in our brother's clothes. We'd wear them to school. We were such tomboys. I used to tell my mom, I hate being a girl. I want to be a boy. I'm a boy. I even had a boy name. I changed my name to a boy name, and I went through a phase. And it's like, nowadays, if I had that, people would be a little too,
Sending you to the clinic.
right? And I'm like, it was a phase. It was like a 2-year phase that I went through. And I look back on it, and it's hilarious that, I grew up with 4 brothers. So I wanted to be one of the guys.
Yeah.
And anyway, I know it's just all gone. So no one lets kids be kids anymore. It's just that. But
Well, there was I can't remember who put it out, but I saw it on social media. You might have seen it, and it was like "Save the Tomboys," because,
oh no, I didn't see
and
that.
it's so funny because I have an older brother, and like my dad, like we were all so close, and we like I was such a boy,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
if it were now, I would be transitioning and the whole
Yeah.
thing, and then my life would be ruined, and
Right.
it really would, it ruins kids, and
It would ruin. And that's what I feel like is so sad. We're not letting the kids be who they are, not just let them go through their phases, because they're going to go through a gajillion things. I went through a phase where I would wear this thick of makeup. I was like 16, 17, and I had to have makeup. And I got out of that phase. You know what I mean? Just let the kids let them do their thing, and just like leave them alone.
it's
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 so
so funny. My 3-year-old is going through this phase where she's doing this, so she thinks she's like being a cat all the time because we have a dog. So she's
uh,
like, and she'll say, "I'm Ninja Cat," and I'm
uh,
like, and I'm not like you're not a cat. You're not a cat.
right.
Like,
Yeah. Oh, I know. I remember my daughter went through a horse stage. We all had to call her Thunder. You know, I would call her, Annie, and she wouldn't answer. And I go, Annie, did you hear me? She goes, I am not Annie. I'm Thunder. Okay, Thunder.
yeah. So just let them be like,
Let them be kids. Gosh, I know. Oh, it just makes me crazy. I can't even watch the news anymore.
oh, I know it's so.
I get so crazy.
Bleh.
I know. So you have 2 daughters.
Yep, 2 little girls. Yeah, and I think this transition across the bridge has been,
Good.
yeah, it's been just to have a yard and, like normalcy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's so important. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, New York is not the best place to bring up kids. It's like Miami. Miami is 6 hours from us. I mean, it's a blast. It's fun,
Mhm.
everything, but not a great place to bring up kids. You know what I mean? So a lot
100%.
of people who have kids end up going to Fort Lauderdale or a different
Mhm.
part of Miami.
Well, there's just a lot of exposure. Like,
Yeah, it's too much. Yeah, it's too much. It's just too much. But anyway,
okay,
so
so you need no introduction because we got right to it.
okay, good. Yeah, is your name Arielle? Is that how you pronounce it?
Arielle.
Arielle. Okay.
Yes, and Beth, it's a pleasure to
Yes.
meet you.
Yes. Nice to meet you.
Okay, so you are basically, you have an Instagram page and you're like this inspiration for, I would say, everyone, not only, you're like in your low 60s, you have a granddaughter, you have a daughter. Have you always been fit, or what's the?
Yeah, yeah, I really have. People have all their. My story is actually very boring because everyone has this big transition, transformation that they made and whatnot. For me, I told you I grew up with four brothers. All of them were athletic. I have a sister too. She was a huge tennis player. We've always been active, always, always. So I have been active my entire life. That's all I know. Um, did I go through a partying phase? Yeah, like everybody else, in college and whatnot. But it was short lived, and I've just always stuck with, just stuck with working out. And I definitely have been through phases. Like, I taught aerobics for 25 years. I went through the Jane Fonda donkey kicks and all that, step aerobics, spin classes. I've done all that kind of thing. And I've seen a lot of change in that regard, but I have always been active and always looking for different stuff because I get bored very easily.
Yeah,
Very.
yeah, I feel that. With your having seen all these different phases of fitness, what do you think? Well, one, they say history repeats itself. So
Yeah.
you've seen things repeat themselves, or do
Yeah.
you just see kind of things getting better, or
I think nowadays, there's also so much technology, like all these machines. There's a machine for a big toe. There's a machine for a pinky. I mean, it's like all this stuff that personally I think is a little much,
yeah,
but I get it, and people want to make it's a huge multi-billion-dollar industry, so people are going to come up with all kinds of things, but um, yeah, I've seen changes in, exercise classes for sure.
hmm,
But a lot of this stuff, Arielle, is things that we were doing a long time ago. It's just a new name now. Like CrossFit.
yeah,
We were doing that back in the 80s, but it was not called CrossFit. You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's kind of the same thing, but they're just putting new labels on it, type of thing.
yeah.
So, but things like running has not changed. It's been the same. Swimming, same. All that kind of thing has been the same. But for the most part, I think it's pretty much the same.
I mean, I love to see this because there's so much talk about, well, if you go too hard, if you do this, if you do that, you're going to get injured. There's no longevity. And you've ran marathons, you've done the weight training, you've done a lot of these things, and you're still going. And it's so nice to see that it's, there's no one right way. It's just a matter of just keep moving.
There's no one right way. I feel like if you cross train, you become stronger. I will say this, Arielle, people are going to fight me on this, but a lot of it is genetics. My mother and father were both in phenomenal shape. Longevity runs in the family. My brother is the type, he can take 2 years off and go run a marathon, no problem, even at his age. We have really good genes, like really good genes. And I know some people can't do this. Some people, I know friends who get injured every other day. It's always something. I've been blessed. I haven't had any major injury. Again, I think some of it is genetic, but a lot of it is just training right. It's just training right.
And consistently.
And consistently, you can't train for a marathon and then not ever do it again. I mean, unless you just don't want to. But it's something that it's not a struggle for me. It's just part of my life. It's part of breathing. It's part of eating. It's part of being social. It's just what I'm about. It's my thing. It's my thing, as my niece said. And about the Instagram, I have to tell you this really quick. I am so anti social media. I hate social media. Okay, I was one of the ones that never had a Facebook, never had Instagram, never had anything. Why you do that? But I have nieces and nephews all over the world. And when COVID hit, they would all say, they post pictures, and I'd say, gosh, and so they were like, you need to get an Instagram so you can, keep up with us. So my daughter made me an Instagram, and I loved it, but it was private for a long time because it was just my family. But then my niece was the one that said, "You need to put your workouts on there," because she would pay a service. She paid somebody, to do. And I go, I'll show you how to do that. So she said, "Well, why don't you put them on Instagram?" So I started doing that, really feeling awkward at first. But then I thought, what's the difference in that and teaching aerobic classes, teaching my classes?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it got around. And I don't know, it's still sometimes it's kind of, I don't know, I'm just not that into it. But it's the biggest compliment when people DM me and say, "You're such an inspiration," and ask me questions and stuff. That's really inspirational because it is my passion and I do want to help people. I do want to. So yeah, that's how that whole thing came about.
That's awesome. I mean, it's such a platform that you can use for, there's so many negatives to it. You get sucked in down the rabbit hole, just
100%.
a time
Right.
suck.
Right.
But if you can really kind of manage it and just upload your stuff, create connections, create a community, like that's also like, that's where this whole podcast came from, is because so COVID happened in March 2020. I had my daughter in April 2020. And I literally, like, I didn't have my mom, I didn't have a mother-in-law, I didn't have anybody because we were just in lockdown in New York City, like literally 2 weeks, flatten the curve. 2 years later, like, so that was my way to just connect with women and, midwives, fertility specialists, pelvic floor specialists, like all these different people and women who, have been through it or who this is their specialty. And then it kind of just went into athletes and, veterans and law enforcement, like all these other women who everyone has a story to share. And it's so interesting. And I love hearing it because being a stay-at-home mom, I have, like, my daughters are with me all the time. Like, this is a really good outlet for me just to, like, connect and chat and hear the stories. And there's not, like, I listen to podcasts and, I don't really watch TV, but I don't have anything where I can, like, just connect.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
So thanks.
That
So I feel you on the social media thing. It took me a while to, like, but when I look at it this way of like, oh, this is my way to interact with people. Like,
yeah.
so I
and
like it.
And when you meet people, through social media, Instagram, and you really connect with them and they really get you and you get them, it's cool. I mean, there's people I've met, across the world, and, it's just really, it's really cool. It's really, really cool. And that part of it, I do. I love that part.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, and then obviously there's the weirdos and the creepers and the bots and like all the crap stuff. But if you can stay away from that and disregard that, it's a complete, I think, win.
Yeah. Luckily, I haven't had too many nobody DM me. Every once in a while, some rando, somebody, but like you said, that comes with the territory. They're all over the place,
Well, sometimes you get the weirdest comments and you're like,
what do you mean?
Like,
yeah.
What are you looking at? Like, who do you like?
Yeah, exactly.
But apparently there's like a ton of troll farms, which a troll farm is basically like a bot, like just a computerized system that is programmed to go spread like nuisance on people's pages just to create crap.
Really? See, I don't know about that, and I'm embarrassed to say I don't even know what a bot is. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that's all. It's basically just a like an AI, essentially, like a computerized system, like a virus, essentially, and they have a fake account. Like, if you look at it, a lot of times when you get these weird DMs or weird messages or weird comments, it's probably a private account with no profile picture or a weird profile picture. And it's just, it's a fake, it's like a computer. It's a fake account.
Okay.
And they're just trying to create problems, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I know.
I honestly don't pay attention to that unless like somebody makes a comment, which, like I said, to your point, some of them are. It's. I don't know whether it's a nice comment or a like. What does that mean? But okay. And then I always think, people from other countries sometimes have a different type of personality, or so, you know what I mean. So maybe it wasn't meant to be. I don't know. But anyway, it is. It's funny. It is really funny.
Well, your personality is definitely on the optimistic side. So you
Oh,
always try to see things like, why is this? I think this is a compliment. Thank you.
yeah.
Or
Right.
like, I always say, okay, I'll take it as a compliment. Thanks.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
that is
It's
too
so
funny.
funny because when my daughter had a baby, I posted the thing and some guy writes, you had a baby? And I'm like, yeah, I had a baby at 61. I did. That was my comment. I said, yes, I had a baby at 61 with a laughy face. I mean, first of all,
I
wow,
had a baby 25 years ago.
new grandma, whatever.
So how is it being a grandma? Is your daughter nearby?
Yes, my daughter lives 3 miles from us, which is
Amazing.
amazing. And so I get to see the baby every day. If I don't see her in person every day, I'm on FaceTime with her. And it is the greatest. People say, oh, you're going to love it. They're right. It is incredible. It's incredible. It's incredible.
Do you
And,
see a lot of you in her, or you see your daughter in her? How, or she's still pretty little?
she's still young. She's only 10 weeks. My my daughter and I are a lot alike in a lot of ways, but it'll be interesting to see how the baby, what personality she has. Because my daughter and son-in-law are both super laid back. They're intense in a lot of ways, but they're very cool. They're divers.
Oh, nice.
They're big mountain climbing.
Mhm.
They're just spear fishing people. I mean,
Oh,
they're
that's awesome.
really cool. Oh yeah. For their honeymoon, they spent 3 months in Southeast Asia, just backpacking.
How
Yeah,
fun.
they're really cool like that. So I'm sure that the baby will be like that because they're going to plan on taking the baby with them on a lot of trips like that. So
Hmm. I feel like the best thing you could do for your kids is continue with your life.
yeah,
That
yeah,
sounds really
yeah,
silly,
yeah.
but
No,
I
it's
see it,
true.
where couples
True.
don't. Like they stop
Yeah.
their life and they feel like
No,
they
no,
can't
no,
do
no, no.
anything.
No, I know. When my daughter was born, I mean, she went everywhere with us. We were just talking about this the other day. I didn't leave her alone with a babysitter till she was probably 4. I mean, she went everywhere with us,
Mhm.
everywhere. And I just, I like that. I wanted her to interact with adults and be mature and not be a baby. I never talked to her like a little baby, never talked baby talk with
Mhm.
her. When she would fall down, I would be like, get up, brush it
Mhm.
off, let's go, keep moving, that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
I think that's why she's really cool. She's a cool girl. She's really, really cool. And yeah, I didn't never like the baby talk thing.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I do it to my dog, but
Right, right,
I
right.
can't get it with my kids. With my kids, I literally speak to them like, and my husband says, "Be like, she's a, she's 3, like," and I'm like, she understands. Like, I don't need to baby talk her. She
No, the
understands.
baby talk. Yeah, I
I
can't.
agree.
I can't stand little whiny babies. I mean,
No,
I know that sounds cold, but I don't.
no, no. And even now, she I think is going through this phase, and I'll say, Axel, use your big girl voice. Like, I don't want to hear you
Oh,
whine.
good. I like that.
Use your
Yeah, I
like,
love
you know
it.
how to use your words. I don't want to hear you want like. But I
Yeah,
mean, it's such a weird time because, and we talk about this, my girlfriends and I, my husband and I, of like, how do you raise kids that aren't assholes? Do you
I
know what I mean?
know.
Because
I know.
it's such a weird time where everyone's a victim and everyone, blah, like, and it's
Yeah.
like, no.
It's funny. I grew up in a military family, and we were very. It was yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no
Mhm.
ma'am. And the way the kids talk to their teachers nowadays and adults, I'm in absolute shock.
Horrific.
It's horrific. My sister-in-law is a 8th grade teacher, and she tells me some of the things that they call her, and I'm like, you can't send them down there. Like, no, you can't do that now. You can't do any of that. That's very scary to me. That's really scary. It's just no respect whatsoever. No,
Hmm.
no respect.
Yeah,
So
it's real. It's weird. I mean, and your daughter is going to be going through it about what she's. I mean, because so we have two. Well, I want another one. I come from a family of three, and so does my husband. So three feels right,
right,
whatever that
yeah,
means.
yeah, I love it.
And I'm like, do I want? And they're all about 2.5, or these two are 2.5 years apart, so it's not such a big gap. And it's like, do we homeschool them? Like, what do we? Because the influences are just,
Yeah, I know. It's scary. I don't know too much about the school system now just because my daughter, it's been,
yeah.
years. She did go private. We sent her to a private school because the public school that was near us was
Hmm.
not a choice. That was never a choice. I looked into homeschooling, but at the time I was working a
Hmm.
lot and traveling a lot with my job. And
What was your job?
I was in medical device sales for
Okay.
years, for 30 years. And so it was, yeah, it was medical
You're so
devices.
personable. I could see it. You're probably so good at it.
Well, I loved it because it was a clinical based job. So I was in the OR a lot teaching surgeons how to use
Oh,
products.
that's cool.
And so it was really interesting. Most of my background was in open heart surgery. So I've seen thousands of open heart cases.
Wow, that's crazy.
It was really interesting. I learned a lot. I was obviously fit back then, so I was very interested in seeing enlarged hearts,
Yeah.
people who didn't take care of themselves, And when you see a heart like that, yeah, you want to go home and run a few miles. You know what I mean? You want to go do that. You learn a lot. Learned a
That's
lot.
great. Are you
Yeah,
the things you learn? Are you obviously like? I mean, what do you remember? What do you think? Like, what can you share?
I
Tell.
remember everything. I'm very inquisitive, so I would always ask the doctors bajillion questions and, would stump them a few times. But it's just medical is very, very interesting. It's no one patient is the same. So it's very, very interesting. And the body is insane. It's incredible what our bodies can be put through.
Mhm.
And so, going back to like physical fitness and stuff, I really think it's good to push your body. You need to push ahead, I'm 61 and I push my body I'm doing things I never thought in a million years that I was scared to do at 20. I'm doing it now because I'm thinking, what's the worst that can happen? I'm 61. What's the worst? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try it.
What is
So
the new stuff you've been doing? Like, what made you switch from, not being afraid to not being afraid, and like to try new, because you did marathons and you've
yeah,
run and
yeah. It's honest to God, it was boredom. I just, yeah, been there, done that. Yeah, done that. Yeah, like let me try. When I got into the OCR racing, which is the obstacle course racing,
Mhm.
somebody had asked me to do it. I had never heard anything about it, but it sounded interesting. I was like, yeah, I'm going to check this out. And so I did it, and it was so fun. And it was challenging. It was fun. It was muddy. It was like hard. It was all these things. And I thought, if I could do this at 50, I think I was 50 when I did it. Um, what else can I do? So I did a few of those, and then, some of the high rocks, CrossFit, all these things that there's a lot I like about individual. There's a lot of things I'm not crazy about, but I always want to try. I'm always wanting to try something new. And right now, I'm spending a lot of time. My daughter was a gymnast,
Okay.
and so she was an amazing gymnast. And I used to watch her and think, God, I wish I would have done gymnastics. Please, Arielle, get your daughters in gymnastics.
I as soon as they're done
It,
with swim, I already have them signed up for gymnastics because
it is
I
the
feel the same.
best. It is
I'm like, why didn't I do gymnastics? I
Yes,
wish
I
I
know.
did.
I know. Because
They're
I
going.
definitely have the body physique for it and um, um,
The
what do
strength.
you call it, genes for it. But
Yeah.
my mom never, that wasn't big back then,
Hmm.
but it's just such a good base. It gives the kids such a good base. they can literally do anything after gymnastics.
I agree.
Anything.
I agree.
Anything.
I just told my husband that because he was like, well, what do you think of this? And I was like, no, the first thing they're going to do is gymnastics.
Yeah, gymnastics.
Like that's the perfect base for everything.
Yeah, it is. It really is. It really is. And so I would watch her, and then she would walk on her hands all over the house. You know, she would walk up and down the stairs and handstand. And so I remember telling her, I want to learn how to handstand. I want to learn how to do this. So they had adult gymnastics. It was called fitnastics on Saturday. And so we went, and like all the adults were like 25, 28, you know.
You're like, hey.
They were all ex-gymnasts. So they're on the floor and flipping and blah, blah, blah. So we all lined up, and they were like, okay, everybody do a forward roll. And everyone starts forward rolling, and I looked, and I was like, I don't know how to forward. My daughter's like, you gotta be kidding, Mom. Like, just roll. Anyway, long story, I got on the floor, and I was terrified. And so she just pushes me, and I roll over, and I got up, and I was like, okay, that was fun.
Give me another push.
So that's how it started. That's when I was 50. So I keep going, and I just love it. I love the bars. You know, I probably have the same level as a level 3 gymnast right now. And it's just fun. I love it. I love it. It's hard. It's so challenging, but God, it is insane training. Insane.
Yeah, I love it too. I think it's so funny you say that about gymnastics. I feel like I'm like, why didn't I do gymnastics?
I know. Why didn't I do gymnastics?
Like, and it's something that stays with you forever.
Forever. My daughter's 29. She hasn't been to a gymnastics class since she was 13, and she can still do her round off back handspring, her back flip, she still has it. It's muscle memory.
That's it.
Muscle memory. And your kids, please get them to do it.
I'm just waiting for swim to finish.
Yeah.
And we got, I think, 2 more weeks, and then we'll start that.
Gymnastics.
Yeah.
Good.
My older one, she's so funny because one thing that I got really good at with CrossFit was handstands and handstand walking. So I'll do that in my workouts and wall walks and stuff. And she's so inquisitive. She wants to do whatever I'm doing, and she's like with everything. And I'm so happy that I have always brought her into the gym, and I never like gave her the iPad. I never, okay, go watch TV, I never shuffled her to the side. I always just said and explained. And so I'm really glad that now, literally, maybe it's in the last 2 weeks, and she's just started to, Mama, I want to do that. Can I do that? Can we take turns? Can I go? Can you show me? And it's I'm like, yeah, definitely. Like, get over here. Let me show you. So I think that it's been this huge shift, and I'm like, I'm here for it. It's nice.
Yeah, good. Yeah, and when they get a skill, they're so excited. You know, it's so good for their confidence.
Yeah.
And, there's such, I can't say enough great things about gymnastics.
Definitely.
You know, I am so glad I got my daughter in, even though she didn't end up, doing it long term. She still has the skill. It taught her so much discipline, and it was really good for her. It's really, really good for the kids.
You just reminded me. I think what I was saying about raising kids that are good kids and not asshole kids. I feel like so much of it has to do with fitness and sports and discipline.
100%. And I was actually going to comment on that too. Like gymnastics, they didn't put up with that shit.
No, they don't.
Like, you don't talk about people. You don't treat people, with disrespect.
Yep.
It's very respectful sport, and you'll get kicked out if you don't. And there should be more of that. And I think that's probably team sports across the board. My niece played soccer, and I think they had that same kind of that same kind of mentality. Team sports,
Yeah. I mean, also obviously it depends on the coach you get. You hope you get a good coach. You hope you.
Right.
There's this and going back to having daughters, you have your granddaughter, your daughter. this book I'm reading now, it's I don't know. Actually, she lives in Florida, and uh, she's a fighter. Her name's Kayla Harrison, and she was like, she's the only or the first a gold medal judo Olympian, and I think she
Oh,
won
okay.
it twice.
Okay.
And she was in judo forever, which starting I think at 9 or something. But
Yeah.
she has a crazy story, and I'm like halfway through her book. But basically, like she was abused. The coach was like sexually abusing her, and like all like this
Yeah.
crazy stuff. And that's a whole nother issue with, I mean, boys, but also
Yeah.
girl. Like I think it said like 7 out of 10 girls are abused, like from,
Yeah.
and it's like, it's crazy. Like, who
Yeah.
do you?
That's scary. That is scary. You know,
Yeah.
that's very scary. That is, oof, don't even like thinking like that. But
Yeah. It's, I mean, and then, you know, you have daughters, you have like being around, having these people you have to be responsible for. It's like, so and then when you said that about, you didn't have your daughter babysat, like like we haven't had an outside babysitter. We only got one recently, now that my daughter can talk and communicate, and
yeah,
she knows the
yeah,
names of all her private parts, and like,
yeah.
and it's, you know, it was a referral, a girl that we know, and blah blah blah. But like, it's just so scary.
It's very scary. And on that same, I want to tell you as a mother, this is the best advice that I ever gave my daughter. And I tell everybody this, and every time they hear it, they're like, that is so good. Tell your daughters, any adult that says, don't tell your mother is a bad person.
Yeah.
If somebody ever says to you, don't tell your mother, that is a bad person.
Yeah.
You tell your mother.
Yeah, that's great advice.
Person. Yeah.
It is.
So, oh, I know. I used to go we role play with my daughter. She was the sweetest thing. I'd say, if somebody comes up to you and says, look for my dog, you know, then you say no. So let's practice. Hey, little girl. Okay.
No.
I got to toughen her up somehow. I know.
They're just so sweet and so innocent. It's so like,
I know.
and you know, you try to like we were somewhere the other day, and we saw like they were doing construction on the street, and we were stopped at a red light, and there was a cop standing outside.
Uh-huh.
So I put the window down because she was like, "Oh, it looks like Grandpa," or something like that. So I put the window down, and I introduced her, and you know, said hi, and the cop was like so caught off guard, like. And I'm like, well, I want her to know that if she gets lost or if something happens, these are the people she should go to. Like,
Yeah.
because so often people, you know, make cops like the bad guys, and they're doing bad and bad. Like, and I'm like, no, if she gets lost, I want you to find like one of these guys.
Right.
Like, so it was a really funny conversation because he was like, yeah, I guess like, and I'm like, so I'm glad that like he, you know, figured it out.
Yeah. No, seriously. I know. Anyway, I know you're a great mom, and
Thanks.
you know, just keep them in sports. Keep them in sports.
Oh my, it's so important. One of our friends the other day said, she has 2 older sisters. One of them's engaged. One of them is in a serious relationship. And the oldest one that's engaged is still in college. The other one is, I think, just finishing high school. Or no, she's in college too. And then the younger one that was talking to me, she is, I think, 14. And she was like asking me about boys and whatever. And I was like, stay in sports. Like, just keep playing sports.
100%.
Boys are going to be there. Like, they're going to be the same. You're not missing anything. Just play your sports.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just can't say enough great things about sports. You know, it's so good for the kids, at least younger. And then when they get older, if they want to do something else, finger painting,
Yeah, whatever.
whatever, great. But when they're young, they should be in sports and learning sportsmanship, good sportsmanship, discipline. You know, learn how to work as a team. You know, all these kind of things. You know, I was a manager for a long time. We always did team stuff. You know, it was like team. And you know, I think that's just really, really important. That's super important.
It's like how to win, how to lose. Like there's
Yeah,
just so
yeah,
much that, and what's crazy is when you're in work, like in life, you can see who's never played a sport. When you're in a
absolutely.
relationship, you can see if that person's never played a sport. Like,
Right.
or whether they played a team sport or,
Yeah,
assault. Like
yeah,
it's insane how much
yeah.
sports affect your perspective of everything.
100%. When I used to hire people, that was important for me. It was like, did you play college sports? Yes, you're hired. I
Yeah.
mean, it was almost like done deal.
Yeah, it's a
But
game changer.
yeah, it is. It really is. It really is. So
I have a question, and I don't know if you have or have. I've never seen you talk about it on your page. Have you been through menopause?
yes,
What do you
yeah.
have to say about it?
Mine
Like,
was easy. Okay, it was one of these. I woke up this
you're
morning.
healthy, you eat well, you're fit. That's
Yeah,
why. Okay.
I think I'm in menopause, and for 2 years, my symptoms probably lasted 2 years. I talked to my doctor about it. She wanted to put me on hormones and stuff, and because
For what?
side effects, headaches, cold sweats, that kind of thing.
And that's standard.
And that's standard, but I'm like, okay, 150 years ago, women didn't have. I'm not going to do. I'm not into medication at all. Okay, it takes me a lot. Like, when I get a headache, I have a headache. I'll work through it.
Yeah.
I'm just not. I don't like taking anything that's not natural.
Yeah.
So I literally just went through it, embraced the symptoms. Um, did holistic stuff, lots of teas, lots of herbal teas, all this kind of thing. And for me, it wasn't a big deal. And all these women who I know people have a really hard time with it. Arielle, people aren't going to want to say it, hear this, but so much is in your mind. Like
Yeah.
if you're in that, oh my God, I'm in menopause. Oh, I'm old. Oh, I'm this. I'm feeling. You know what? Embrace it. It's a way of life. It's part of getting older, and it's part of
Mm-hmm.
the aging process. And I feel so blessed to be able to live that long in order to experience it. I've had so many friends die young. And it's like embrace. It's a gift. It's kind of like when you're pregnant. Your body just goes through all this stuff, and you can't help it. You don't take a pill to it's just the body's doing what it wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I did. I embraced it, and I laughed a lot about it. You gotta laugh. I mean, I would be sweating. I'd be sorry, guys, menopause. Sorry. But for me personally, and I know other people may feel differently, it was not a big deal. It was just not a big deal. And yeah, I didn't have the weight gain. I think the only things that I really remember was the sweats.
Mm-hmm.
But what's interesting, Arielle, is that I get cold really easily. I mean, I'm always cold. I mean, it has to be 80 degrees outside so that so I kind of like the hot flash. I was like, finally, I'm warm. So I didn't mind it at all. I didn't mind it. I really don't have a lot to say about it, only because I just did not experience. I
Mm-hmm.
think, like you said, just exercising through it made it very, very simple. I
Mm-hmm.
don't talk about it because it wasn't a big deal to me at all. Like I said, I didn't have the weight gain. I remember headaches, and I remember the sweats and the hot flashes, and really that's it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
Sorry.
I don't know if you remember because it's 29 years ago, but after, and it happened with both of mine, after like the hormones after delivery, you get sweaty, like you just wake up in a pool of sweat.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
assuming it's the same thing.
It's the same thing, and everyone is different.
Yeah.
Everyone. Some people may have severe. I don't know. I didn't have that. My
Mm-hmm.
pregnancy was easy as shit. I gained 18 pounds. I taught aerobics through the entire pregnancy. I ran through the entire pregnancy. It was not a big deal. So I know everyone's different. I told you I'm very boring. Everything was. I had no problem. You know what I mean? It's just not been. It has all been bliss for me. And it does irritate me when people complain, because I'm like, be glad that you're able.
Mhm.
One of my best friends has never been able to have a child. And so when people bitch about how their bodies are changing, she would kill to have her body change like that. You know what I
Totally.
mean?
Mhm.
And so I have very little tolerance over people who don't embrace what the body does to do these amazing things,
Mhm.
you know? And yeah, guys don't go through a lot of this, you know, women, stop bitching, embrace it. You know what I mean? Stop bitching.
I agree. I couldn't like shout it louder from the roofs. I agree 100%. But I think that so much, and my mom and you would be best friends. Like she, exact
Oh,
same thing. And so,
I
because
love
her and I
that.
talk about it, and that's why I was like, oh, I'm curious because you're
Yeah,
fit.
yeah,
You've been through this, so that's why.
yeah.
And it was the same thing for her. She was like, I don't have anything to say. Like,
Well, you know, everybody loves to scare you to death. I was
yeah,
terrified. I was like, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. And then when it happened, it's going through, and I was kind of like, is this it? Okay, I think I can handle this.
yeah. Well, and then it goes back to like, there's so many people who criticize people who are fit, who take care
Yeah,
of themselves, who eat well, who are conscious of all, just conscious.
yeah, yeah,
And people don't bat an eye if you stop at McDonald's and you eat like crap and you stuff your face with popcorn or whatever. But when you're like conscious of being healthy and being fit, everyone thinks you're just obsessed. But it's this longevity, this like
way of life.
that, and when you get your period, when you first get it, when you're a teenager or whatever, all the way till now, and even later. Like I see it with my grandma, my mom's mom, who's in her 80s. Like to have things easy, like
Yeah,
easy pregnancies, easy menopause, easy recoveries, like it's not easy. It's because you've just
hundred
created this
percent.
for yourself.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. That's why I tell all the young kids, my nieces, my daughter's friends, and everything, start now.
Hmm.
Baby, start now. Because when you're my age, you really, this is going to sound cocky, and I really don't mean it. It's just, I have such a good base of um, running.
Hmm.
2 weeks ago, I ran a marathon. I didn't even train for it. I just went out and ran it because one of my friends wanted me to do it with her, and I did it with her. I didn't train out. It's just because I have a phenomenal base
Hmm.
that I can handle the mileage. There were in my younger days when I first started training for it. Yeah, I trained, but it's just not a big deal. It's because you have the base, and when you have the base, you can do anything.
Hmm.
Anything. Just like you said, consistency. You
Hmm.
can't just, go through phases. It has to be something.
Well, and
And
it's,
people
huh?
ask me all the time, do you work out every day? Yes. I do something every day. Do I do the normal thing? No. But you've got to consider everything a workout. If you go for a bike ride, that's a workout. If you go to work in the garden, that's a workout. Just do something every single day and have fun doing it. And people are like, "Oh, I hate running." Then don't. There's a lot of other things you can do. You don't have to do what people tell you to do. Go do something. Make up your own thing. Do something.
Just move.
Just move. Move. Exactly. It's not complicated. I remember I did a post one time, and I was just throwing up the ball, and I was like, exercise is not complicated. Okay, just move. That's all you got to do. Move, move. So true.
Well,
So
I think that especially with social media, people make it more complicated than it
yeah,
needs to be because everything now is about clickbait.
yeah,
Like how many views like what is the cool trick you got and
right.
whatever. And it's like, just start with your push up.
I
Just
know.
start with
Yeah,
a pull up. Just start with like a basic squat. Like just get your
yeah,
basics down.
yeah. That's so true. Some of the posts I have to laugh at because I'm like, first of all, how did you get in that position? And secondly, what are you working?
Yeah.
And third,
Yeah.
it's really stupid.
Yeah. It's like it's crazy because it's so much just clickbait, like just,
Yeah,
and we
yeah,
are just constantly stimulated and we want to just be
Yeah.
go like, and it's like, just don't
Yeah.
pay attention to the noise. Just
Right.
do the basic stuff.
Right, right. Oh gosh, that's so true. That's so true. So, with social media, it is still love hate. There's so much crap out there, but there's so much that I love about it. I mean, there's just so much amazing people out there that really do inspire me, that actually really do inspire me. So, um, yeah, I love that part of it. But it's fun. It's fun. We'll see where it turns. It ends up. I don't know if I'm going to be 80 years old still on social media.
Do you have a goal with it, or you're just enjoying it
No,
as it goes?
no, 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 not at all. I mean, I take breaks all the time, because I'm just like, oh, and I'm also one that I just don't want to put crap out there. Like, I don't want to just take my picture and, hey, I'm still here. I do have a goal. I want it to be informative. I want it to be helpful, more helpful than anything.
Hmm.
And for some people it might be, and for others it may not be. But I do it honestly, Arielle, because of all the DMs I get. It is crazy how many DMs I get, and I really appreciate that so much. I really do, because I think those people who are DMing me, I've really made it. I have inspired them in some way, and so I love that. That's like the biggest compliment ever. And it's not a vain thing. It's not about me. It's about you know, I want people to know at 61 years old, hell yeah, you can do what you want to do. You can. You
Okay.
can.
Hmm.
But it doesn't come easy. It's work. It is. It's work. And, just please, all you young girls, just start young. Start young. You'll be so happy you did. You'll be so happy you did.
I saw something the other day that was so funny, and it's so true, of like all these teenagers and 20s, even 30 something, who have never had kids, and metabolism hasn't hit yet, and they're so fit and they're showing it off. They don't actually have to do anything. They're just posing, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, when real life hits, like postpartum, or age or whatever, and then you'll know where your fitness level really stands.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because it's so true. Like, you what is it they say? You rise to the level of your like your training. You don't
Yeah.
fall to the level of, like, everyone thinks like, oh well, adrenaline will kick in and I'll be able to do it, and it's like, it doesn't really work that way. Like,
Yeah. Also, and this is the honest truth, I honestly don't do it for looks, for like, I want to, look really strong. It is so mind for me. It's literally that, endorphin thing. I can be in the worst, saddest mood. And when I go to work out, it literally is a drug. It's a
hmm.
drug for me. When my mom died in August, and
Oh, I'm
it was
sorry.
extremely hard for me, extremely hard. And if it wasn't for running, if it wasn't for my working out, I don't know if I could have done it. It was very difficult.
Hmm.
But it was my working out that got me through it. And I just can't say enough about the importance for your mind, your mind.
Hmm.
And I really wish that more people, would really see that. And it's so important. It's just really important. So
There's I think that COVID like really opened the eyes, or not, for a lot of people,
yeah,
of, okay, let me get a vaccine and it will save me,
yeah,
or let me get fit and healthy and I can kind of save myself, type of
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
And it's so interesting because it's almost like there were these two groups that were those two groups, the I'm going to have a vaccine save me, or I'm going to, get fit and take care of myself and create a better immune system and be healthy and not have to rely on someone else or a vaccine to save me. And it's so mental, because like, I remember, like, I had my daughter in April of 2020 when it was locked down. Like, just, we weren't, you in New York, they said you couldn't even go outside. Only you could go outside if you had a dog and you needed to walk it. like the building gym is closed down. I remember after I had her, so I had her in April, in May, the end of May, like so a month later, I remember I went outside and I would do pull-ups on the scaffolding. I would bring bands with me. Like I'd walk and I'd just try to find scaffolding around a building so I could just move. And it's
Yeah.
crazy how like just the movement like can get you through anything.
Anything.
And it's like, yeah, and it's literally the world is shut down and I'm just trying to find somewhere to move. Like
Yeah.
it's great. And when you say that about your, it makes so much sense of like just any sort of stressful, just to create that clarity. But there are, you know, endorphins that are actually released that
100%.
happiness.
Absolutely. It is absolutely the truth. And, you know, I dare say this, but you know, Americans for the most part are lazy. They're lazy. I mean, lazy.
Yeah.
My husband and I travel a lot, and we go to a lot of third world countries because we love culture. We go on culture trips. And you go over to these amazing countries, and they don't have a lot of money, but they're happy. And why are they happy? Because they they don't have gyms. They don't have, you know, these fancy workout equipment. They work. They get up.
Mm-hmm.
They do their farming. They
Physical
do
labor.
their manual labor.
Mm-hmm.
They get the endorphins and they don't even know what that is because they don't know any differently. And they're happy. They're happy because they're working. They're working hard and the kids are working, you know, at young ages and they're a family and they come together at night. And I got to tell you, if more people could see this, I think they'd appreciate, you know, what the United States has to offer. You know, it's very, very. We're just spoiled. We're lazy and we're spoiled. Sorry, I said it. It's how I feel. And until you travel,
It's so true, though. I second
I
it. I mean, same. We see it everywhere we go. It's
yeah, lazy.
crazy.
It's laziness, and we make it that way. We're our own worst
And
enemies.
entitlement. That's a big one. It's horrible.
100%. So, and that's why when we travel, that's why we like to go to these countries because we relate to the different cultures. We just love that culture. Like, yeah, it's very interesting. It's very, very, very interesting and rewarding. And I've learned to cook amazing things by doing this. Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so then you bring me to another question. How long have you guys been married?
31 years. This year will be 32.
Amazing. That's awesome. That's like I feel like unheard of nowadays. So congrats.
He is, you know, I never wanted to get married. I was a career woman. I never wanted to get married. I never wanted any kids. I just wanted my career. But he was my next door neighbor. I moved into a duplex and he had the house next door. And he was a doer. He was always busy doing stuff. And I thought that was really cool. So we ended up, you know, talking and he had traveled all over the world and I love to travel and you know, he just was a super cool guy. And I said, I could be best friends with this guy. And I just really just want to be good friends. But it obviously turned into something
He
else.
had other plans.
And to this day, I get butterflies when I see him in the morning. You know, I get butterflies when we go out on, you know, dates. He is amazing. We're best friends.
That's awesome.
We're best friends. And people ask all the time, what's
The secret?
Secret. Respect.
Hmm.
It's respect. We're a lot alike, but we're a lot different, and it's respect. When you respect someone, that is huge. It's huge. Don't
like
ever
it.
talk about your spouse to anybody else. Keep all your stuff to yourselves between you and your husband. Be respectful. Never talk bad about your husband or your kids. Don't do that. It's respect.
I like that advice.
And also, we're spiritual. You know, we're both very spiritual people, and I'm proud of that. Not going to hide it. We have a very, very spiritual relationship, so it's great. It really is. It's great.
That's awesome.
Respect. That's it. I just, you know, respect your body, respect your relationships. You know, respect. Yes.
Does
Every
he have a
food that you put in your mouth,
totally
respect it.
everything? Everything. Be grateful. Like it's just appreciating, respecting it.
Yes. Yes. And it's not different. It's not difficult. You know what I mean? It's just,
It seems to be for a lot of people. I don't know why.
I
Like
don't know, girl. I just don't. It's so funny. I just don't relate to a lot of stuff.
it's so funny. I was talking to a wife, like one of our friend, a group, whatever, the wife the other day, and she said, my husband and I, we really respect that you stay home with your daughters, that you kind of put your life on hold or whatever, and you're with them. Like it's crazy, like it's a lot, and they have kids. They have a couple kids, and I said, yeah, but like I get to. I don't have to. I get to.
Right.
Like this is
Right.
like I'm lucky that I can.
Right.
Like yes, they make me crazy sometimes. Yes, they stretch my patience. Yeah, but like who else would I prefer to teach my kids and create a strong foundation?
Absolutely.
And it's such an interesting mentality because she was like, yeah, I don't have the like I just can't. And it's not just her, it's it's like not a lot of women, it's so many, it's most women. And it's such an interesting, because it's all perspective. Like I get to, like, I'm so lucky, I'm so fortunate. And then that led into a conversation of like, having this animosity towards the husband because he gets to go to work and he gets to have his friends and he gets to have a life. And it's like, this is such a small period of time. Like,
it goes so fast.
yeah.
Too. Oh
yeah.
my God, it goes so fast. I'm just all about staying home with the kids. I am.
Yeah. And it's crazy too, because and I think like you being a career woman driven. And I never thought, oh, I can't wait to be a mom. Like I never had Barbies and I never wanted to play dolls. Like I was running in the backyard with my brother. Like, and I think this might, ruffle feathers, but I really think that so much of me and women like me who enjoy this and embrace this is not having expectations. Like momming isn't pretty. It's not fun all the time, but it's just, it is what it is. And you take it for what it is. It's not what you see on social media.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the secret, I think. I don't know.
Yeah. But what's interesting is that you won't see it now. It'll be later on. Your daughter will appreciate. She will see that having you there gives her confidence. My mother was a stay-at-home mom, and knowing she was there, like, when we were at school, knowing she was home, it just gives you confidence and a safe haven. It's safe, knowing that somebody is there and able to come get you if they need to, or whatever. But no, you won't regret it. I mean, and there's always time to have your career. I took 5 years off. I went back to work when she went to kindergarten, and I didn't feel like I lost out on anything. In fact, I was better than ever. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know. I'm all about mom staying home.
Yeah, it's funny because one of our friends, she has 5 daughters, and I know, it's incredible. And she said that, because I asked what her biggest piece of advice was, because I'm like, do I go to work? And I think what I'm going to end up doing is just training women in our gym in the home, like during the day, and then I'll be able to drop off and pick up and be available when I need to be.
Right.
And for, while they're little. And she said that her biggest piece of advice was that also, which is being available to them when they need. Drop off, pick up, if they need to come home, like be there for them. Right. And it's funny because, it's not funny, but her daughters are just incredible. They're so sweet and kind, and like they're just, and you don't see it, like they're good kids. They have respect. They pay attention. They're not just sitting there, when you're talking, like they're good girls.
Right.
And I think the oldest is now like 21, and there's younger ones that are like 10. So there's this, 5 of them and they're so good. And I always look to her, and I'm gonna send this to her when we're done because she's gonna be like, "Oh, thanks." But like, I always think of her when I think about like a really good example for momming.
A good mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I know some moms can't stay home, but nowadays there's so much working at home. I feel like
There's options.
yeah. So yeah.
The big thing I hear is moms like to work because it's their break. They use it as a break from the kids.
Oh, okay.
Which is fine, whatever.
Yeah.
Everyone
has their thing.
Yeah. It's just that simple. I don't know.
But it's never a bad idea to be close to your kids,
Totally.
right there, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm all about that. I'm old fashioned in that regard.
Yeah, I must be too.
And they will love you for that later. They'll love you for it.
Fingers crossed.
Oh yeah, they'll love you for that.
Okay, so you have sponsors? What do you have? What's going on? What else do you have to share?
Sponsors.
I thought I saw something on your page. I might not
work with a lot of companies. I'm very, 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 very particular about who I work with. That's one thing. Every other day I get a DM about, can we send you something? Can we, this? Do you want to work with us? This and that and the other. I'm very particular because if I like a product, I really like it, and I will, tell someone that, not my thing. There are certain products that I really wish that they would sponsor me because I love it. But yeah, it's it's not a job. It's not a it's more for just informative reasons. Hey, check this out. This is really good. Like the Liber parallettes. I use them literally every day. Every day. And I was not gifted those. I bought them. I have 4 sets. And do I use all 4 sets? You're damn right I use all 4 sets. Hell yeah, I love them. I love those things. So things like that. I mean, I really have to really like them, in order for me to share that with people.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to share? Your handle, you're only on Instagram. Are you anywhere else?
I'm not on, I have a Facebook only because when I first set up my Instagram, I thought you had to have a Facebook, but I literally don't even know what my password is. I don't know how to get on there. I don't even know if it's still active. Mm-hmm. I'm not on social media. I do not like TikTok. I don't get TikTok. I don't get it. I don't get what it is. And it's not that I'm against it. I just don't understand it. I really don't. One of my friend's son is on it, and I've looked at he has like 3 million followers or whatever, but the things he posts, I just don't get it. It's like silly. It's just silly. I don't get it personally. And I know people use it for their business. Great. Knock yourself out. Not my thing. But other than that, yeah, I do some private training. I don't want to do it except for people that are friends. And
okay.
I help. It's not something that I taught aerobics for 25 years.
Yes.
It's been there, done
You're
that.
over it.
I'm over it. I just like doing what I like to do. And if somebody wants to, I do a lot of HIIT workouts in my garage. And if my neighbors want to come over and do it with me, they're welcome to. The people that I help, I don't charge. I don't want to do that. It's not a business for me. It's literally just to help people. One of my friends just was diagnosed with cancer. So I'm helping her, a little bit. And I can't imagine charging her.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Do that. But, yeah, so I told you in the beginning, I'm boring. I just have a boring life. There's nothing spectacular about it except that I'm so happy and I'm so blessed to have such a great family and great health. I mean,
Nothing about that's the thing though. It's so not boring because everything is just so over exaggerated. It's so nice to just see like consistency. Like this is what people strive their entire life for.
yeah,
And to know it's
yeah,
possible.
yeah. And when I see, there's so many interesting stories. People, have these amazing transformations, and that is just amazing. Yeah,
You're not one of them.
no, I'm not one of them. I walk with a friend once a week, and she asked me. She said, "Have you ever been big?" And I said, like heavy, and I said, no. Sorry, no. I mean, my family's not big. I mean, we've just always been active. We've
Yeah.
always been athletic. Back in that day, you woke up, you said, "Mom, I'm going out with my friends," and I didn't see my mom till 10 o'clock that night. Nobody worried where you were. You know what I mean? We were neighborhood kids. We were out. We
Mhm.
were always out and about. And yeah, it's just always been like family and fun, just safe.
I dig it. I like it. I'm into it.
Yeah.
Um, well, I am so glad that I finally met you
Me
officially.
too. You're amazing. You're amazing. Is CrossFit your big thing?
So I taught it for a long time. I worked out with a lot of like the top athletes, and trained with them. And the gym that I was at in the city was a really, really good gym. So that was like the hub.
Okay.
But honestly, at this point, I'm working out with my kids. Like it sounds crazy. I haven't been to a gym, like an actual gym, and since before COVID, since 20, because I was pregnant in 2020, like I guess I haven't been since 2019 to like a gym. So we have a gym we built out here. We have a property upstate New York. We have a gym we built out there. So I do my own thing. It's similar to what you do. It's just functional. I just love to move.
Love to move, and
Yeah.
there's certain things that there's certain things I really like about CrossFit. There's certain things that it's just not me. It's not my thing.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how I feel about all the different exercises. I do what I like to do, and that's why I'm successful.
You pick and choose.
Exactly. If you don't like something, God knows there's so many thousands of other things you could be doing. Why do you insist on doing something you really don't like doing?
Yeah.
So I'm with you on that. I just
Well, and it's so funny you say that because it feels like there's a difference between things you don't like doing versus things you're just not good at.
Yeah.
And it's like a lot of times people don't give themselves the time to get good at it to then like it. Oh, I'm not good at it, so I can't do it.
Yeah.
And it's like that's not how it works. Like it's okay to be bad at something and get better.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But for example, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it, burpees. No, can I tell you? They don't do anything for me. It's not my thing. People will do 500 burpees and I'm like, it's just I don't feel it. It's not that I don't like them. I just don't think they're doing anything. But okay, there's other things I would rather do that to me are much more effective. And so that's the only example that I can get. I mean, I like it all. When I was doing a lot of the Spartan races, you had for penalty. They don't do that anymore. But I was just like, this is stupid.
You're like, this is just wasting my time. It's just holding me up.
Fine, it's like.
Well, I think that at some level, once you're like fit enough, burpees, and you're flexible enough, burpees aren't really a thing. Like it's not really a challenge once you hit this fitness level.
Right.
But for a lot of people, it is because it's hard for them to get their feet up, whether it's the mobility thing or the strength thing in their app, like whatever it is.
Right.
So like you're there.
If there's other exercises that give you the same effect that you might like better, you know what I mean? So I don't know. Anyway, it's funny. Like I said before, there are thousands and thousands of different exercises and different machines and different this and that.
So
if
many.
you don't like something, find something you do because then you'll stick with it.
Amen to that.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know. I love that you're working out with your kids. I love that.
It is, it's cool. Like, I remember at one point thinking like, God, this is like so hard. Like what, like, and in the gym that we have upstate, I have a swing and I would just set her in it and like and normally she would just fall asleep and she could fall asleep to the metal banging and then, the weights bumping and the music. And that honestly was like worth it in itself because now they can sleep through anything. Like it's not it needs to be quiet. They need to sleep. They can sleep through anything. So like, that's a benefit in itself. Like,
You know what else you might want to try too with them is that our gymnastics gym has a ninja class.
Oh yeah,
and the ninja classes are really fun. And I helped teach them for a while, and they're really fun because they teach the kids to climb rope, to hang, just hold on to the wings and hang. It's a lot of really, really good. It's not only fun, but it's very functional, and they learn so much. They learn how to jump and not be afraid to, jump off a box or something. That's really fun.
It's so funny you say that because with my older one, we went through this phase and we're just thankfully out of it. And I don't know where she got it from, but she would do this thing where she would say like, oh, I'm so afraid, or it's so dangerous, or like, and I'm like, whose kid are you? Like, jump, go, like, what are you doing, girl? Come on. Yeah. And it's funny because I think that my tendency of like, just go made her stop and made her more cautious. Yeah. And it's really interesting because recently, so my barbell is sitting here and when she comes in the gym, I have it at the height where she can just jump up and grab it. And she started doing that and she started doing this thing. She'll turn around, like she'll hold on and then she'll do it without her feet. So she'll like circulate back, like,
good. Yeah.
And since she started doing that, she started doing like toes to bar. She'll bring her feet all the way up. And when she started, and this has been in like, since we moved, so like in the last month. Okay. And she started getting really confident with it. And she stopped saying oh, that's dangerous, mama, or I can't do that. Because she would say these things and I'm like, where are you learning? Like, why are you saying these things? And so since she started doing this, she's totally just like, and now she'll jump off the back of the sofa. She'll jump off the counter. Like, I don't know what it is. Like something just, and she's like turned into this crazy lady, this ninja cat, as she calls herself. And
I love it. That's funny.
And I'm like so glad because she's just got, and maybe it's the swimming. She's got this new level of confidence. Yeah. But we'll go to the playground, and before she wouldn't try the monkey bars, and I would just go and I would say, "Okay, hold me," and she'd hold me, and we'd monkey bar back and forth, and like I was thinking like that would help her, like all these different things, and she wouldn't, and then whatever's clicked. We went to the playground the other day, and she's like, "Mom, watch," and she just did it, and I'm like, who's this new girl? Like, I am so excited. Like, and it's crazy because it's like there's just this new kid that's like emerged. It's wild. I don't know.
I love that, especially little girls.
Yeah.
Scared. You're just like, get over it. But it's harder for them to get over it. But when they just do it, that's a good sign.
Yeah, I'm so grateful that she just, and we were at it's actually this is funny. We'll end with this unless you have anything else, but we were at the pool and she was getting ready to go into her swim lesson. And there was a little boy who came in who was, I want to say he was 5. He was a little older than her because she's tall. She's like as tall as all the 5-year-old friends that we have. And he was afraid to go in the water. Like because he had a lesson also, but he was afraid and he didn't even want to go in the pool because there's like the lobby area and then the pool where it's warm. And he was very like, his mom had to pick him up and like drag him in and was forcing him.
Which is probably making it worse.
I'm sure, because I'm sure you know, you got to explain it to them and just give them their time and be patient, whatever. Yeah. And she looks at me and she said, "Mama, he's a little fish." and I'm a shark. And I was laughing so hard because
That is adorable.
one day the instructor said, "Are you a little fish? Are you a mermaid?" And she said, "I'm a shark," because she loves it so much. And so that she put it in that perspective that he's like a little scared fish. Oh my God, I was laughing so hard. And I'm like, okay, don't say that any louder, but yes, you are a shark.
That's cute. That is cute. That's one of those stories that you need to put in your little notebook.
Yes.
Because later on, she's going to say, "Mom, tell me a story." And you can tell her that one. And she's going to be like, "Oh my God, that's so funny. That's so cute."
I actually did this thing for both of them that maybe you would do with your granddaughter, because I made them an email account with their name and I send them emails. And I attach photos and stuff and videos.
That's so cute.
Yeah, it's like so when I was in high school, we had a house fire, and like almost everything was lost.
Oh no.
Whatever, life happens. Like, yes, it was terrible. I thought my life was ending, but there was one, like the firemen showed up and they said like, "Tell us one thing we can save," to my mom. And we had all of the photos in like one big cabinet. So they were able to save that thing. But that made me think like, how can I make sure to like, give them things? Because I do have a baby book and I have all the stuff for them, but I also send them emails every month.
That's brilliant.
Of and include photos and videos and all the stuff.
Yeah. That's so brilliant.
Yeah. And it's fun because then when they, they'll have all these emails that they can look through, and it's fun.
That's going to be really, really good. That's really interesting. That's a good one. I'll have to do that one.
Yeah.
That's really good.
And then think about it. Then you have their name. Like they have their name email.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Oh, yeah. I love that. That is so cute. That's so cute. Don't you think too, like, in 20 years, what is it going to be? Is it still going to be email? Is it, you know what I mean? Things are going to be like, what's social media going to be? Is it still going to be the same? I don't know.
I mean, it's come so far, and I think like, how much further could it go? Like, how much more advanced could this be? It's so advanced now.
Yeah, except AI. I think AI is going to be huge.
Yeah.
I think they're going to take the place of a lot of people's, but
definitely
a lot of service industry stuff. But who knows? Who knows? That's a whole nother topic.
That's a whole nother episode.
Yeah. I love it. You are so awesome.
Oh,
I'm so glad to meet you. I am, and I love your little family.
Thanks.
So adorable. So I can't wait to keep up with you.
Well, I'm excited to watch your granddaughter get bigger and have more personality and do your workouts with you. And
yeah, when she's old enough, I'm gonna put her in some of my videos.
Oh yeah,
some granny workouts. But yeah, and on that note, the only other thing I would say is I do have a subscription.
Oh, okay, what?
I asked his Instagram if I could just have a free, not charge anybody, but they don't do it because, I think they want to make their money. But it's the absolute least amount, which is 99 cents. The only reason I do it is I do more, it's more like one-on-ones, like I talk through my stuff because, you can't really put that stuff on the normal. But I only want to say that because I'm getting ready to start a series on all the different workouts, and I've got a lot of people involved in this, and I'm really excited about it.
Oh, I'm excited. Can you share details or not yet?
I just wanted to throw that out. Like I said, $12 a year, canceling.
Yeah, that's all. And I mean, worst case, they're just going to get some serious inspiration from you.
Yeah. I hope so. That means so much. How old are you? Do you mind me asking?
Yeah, no. I'll be 35 in May.
Okay. You are so cute. You're just a cute little mom. I love that. I love that. That's so cute.
It's funny because I'm so proud of my age.
Yeah.
And it's such a funny thing because I see it with you. I see it with my mom. I see it with my, women who are comfortable in their skin and what they've done. And they're, I don't know about their fitness level, but just, they know they're secure in themselves. So I'm always like, yeah, I'm happy to say I want to tell everyone my age.
Yeah. Well, let me say, I don't know if this is still true. You know how things change, but at the time, they said that women in their mid-30s is when they peak for performance.
Interesting.
And I will say my best marathon time, I was 34 years old. So that was definitely when I peaked. So I don't know if that's still true, and I don't know if that.
I could see it.
I can see it too, because your body is, it's at that point, it's just very. I don't like to use the word ripe, but that's when you are like
Yeah.
peaked.
I feel like now I'm more resilient. My body's more resilient than it's been.
Yeah.
And whether it's from the kids and bouncing back or, bouncing back, whatever, like I feel like and mentally, which we know it's a lot mental.
Yeah.
Like I know I can just grapple a lot more.
Yeah.
And
no, I agree. With that. Yes, 100%. And that's really a good point as far as peaking goes in your 30s. Mental is a lot of it too. Yeah. It's not just physical, it's mental too. So yes, so girl, you got it. You got it.